What's up, sports bettors? Playtime's over. I have 3 player props, NFL and MLB. Let's get into it. So as usual, I'm going to be using OddsJam to find value, right? As a sharp sports bettor, you're trying to use data to make better bets, right? To make better betting decisions. So an example of a great play we got down previously on Underdog Fantasy was George Pickens under 4.5 receptions. Right? We played that in a bunch of plays that we currently have open to win a lot of money. George Pickens under 4.5 receptions. You can see they already moved him down to 4. So you have to be able to get on these bets quickly. You got to scan for value, know how to navigate the sports books, and get your bets in, because George Pickens under 4.5 was incredible value on Underdog on the under. But today, don't worry if you missed this play. I got a few more plays that we're going to get into using data to find mathematically profitable plays with an edge. So my first play is going to be Naji Harris under 2.5 receptions, right? All I'm doing is I filter for Underdog Fantasy, and then I look for the bet in bold with a circle around it, right? So on Underdog, we always want to be placing, 3-pick, basically, or 5-pick entries. You mainly are going to want to go with 3-pick, and that's because the implied odds are better. So we've gone through this before, but 2-pick entries are kind of a rip-off on both PrizePicks and Underdog. PrizePicks is a rip-off in general because, again, you'll notice for a 3-pick power play, you're getting 20 to win 100 on PrizePicks, whereas on Underdog Fantasy, you're getting, 20 to win 120. So the payouts on Underdog Fantasy are higher, for 3-pick entries, which means they're charging less juice, right? The implied odds for a 3-pick entry on Underdog is minus 122, which is why you'll notice on Underdog Fantasy, you'll see every, for 5 picks and 3 picks, you'll see it's minus 122 and minus 137. So minus 137 is the odds you should assume that you're betting at for a 2-pick entry on Underdog. And then minus 122 is the implied odds you're getting for a 5-pick or a 3-pick. So anyways, Naji Harris under 2.5 receptions. All of the sports books have the under heavily juiced, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data points, all telling us, this line should be like minus 150 to minus 170. And we can get this in our Underdog entry at minus 122. You can also get this on PrizePicks. This would be good in a 5-pick flex play, a 4-pick power play, something like that. But it's incredible on Underdog. Here's your profit margin, 4.63%. Naji Harris under 2.5 receptions, right? And basically, this is just logical sports betting, right? It's following the value. On Underdog Fantasy, you'll notice, right, they're not varying your payouts, 20 to win 120, depending on if you select the overs or the unders, right? Not at all. Any 3 picks you select, it's pretty simple. No. Any 3 picks you select, it's going to be 20 to win 120. Overs, unders, whatever. So there's no variation in pricing. So the implied odds on the over and the under are going to be exactly the same. So when you can find these spots where all of the sports books have the under heavily juiced, which means the under is a lot more likely to occur, and you can get that play on your Underdog entry, you want to be all over it. 4.63% profit margin, absolute drop the hammer on, minus 170 kind of across the board. Sportsbooks imply win probabilities for bets through their odds, right? And all these sportsbooks price things independently. So for example, Bet Online, if we go to a little no-vig odds calculator, which just takes, a sportsbook's market and removes the juice, Bet Online is pricing the under at minus 161, and they have the over at plus 124. So the true odds is going to be minus 138 when you remove the vig. So according to Bet Online, the true odds with no vig is minus 138. We're getting minus 122 on Underdog. Right, so we're getting better odds than the no-vig odds, right? It's kind of like finding a stock that is worth $500 and being able to buy it for $400. It's just a no-brainer. The stock's worth $500. So what's crazy about sports betting is all these sports books set lines independently. So we essentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these sports books are telling us, hey, this is what the price should be, in our opinion, based on the millions of dollars of NFL bets we're getting. and all of our sophisticated models, DraftKings is saying, hey, this should be minus 170, Caesars minus 169, Bet Online is like, well, we're not that juiced, but we're minus 161, Bovada's like, yo, we got this minus 145, and then Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, so we put the most weight in their odds, they're like, yo, this should be minus 148. So we kind of look at all this data and we're like, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all these sharp bookmakers, these very efficient betting markets are telling us, yo, this should be priced at like minus 150 to minus 170. We're getting it minus 122. Drop the hammer and you hammer it, right? Naji Harris under 2.5 receptions. So next we got Tristan McKenzie, over 5.5 Ks. Let's frickin' go. All the sports books have the over juiced. Hopefully, Guardians can make this an interesting series. Baseball. Why not? Make baseball interesting. Let's go. Final play, Cabrera to get a hit. Let's go. So 3-pick entry, rolling with it. Tons of plays open on Underdog Fantasy. Let's make some money because that sounds fun for a day like today. And we got 3 picks. Let's go.